I kept my mouth shut for years while my family tore me apart piece by piece. But after what happened at my wedding, I can't stay silent anymore. The truth is ugly, and it starts with betrayal.
Welcome to Reddit Toxic Family Telltales channel. New episode every day.
So, my so-called golden child sister has officially decided that my wedding is just optional for me, but hers is more important. Let me explain. Last week, my parents threw this big family barbecue. Burgers, drinks, the whole happy family thing. In the middle of it, my sister drops a bomb. She announces she's pregnant. Everyone claps, hugs her, tears in their eyes. And for a moment, I was genuinely happy for her too. But then, she pulls this stunt. In front of the entire family, she turns to me and says, "Your wedding venue is so beautiful. Can I have it for my wedding?" Now let me pause here. This isn't just any venue. My fiancé and I have been on a wait list for 3 years. We literally built our wedding plans around this place. It's our dream spot, and she just casually asks for it like it's a hand-me-down sweater. Everyone around us is staring, waiting for me to nod and say yes like it's the sisterly thing to do. But I looked her in the eyes and said, "I love you. But no, this is my wedding. You're not taking my venue." Cue the waterworks. She bursts into tears, storms off like I just committed the ultimate betrayal. And that's when the guilt-tripping committee showed up. My nan pipes up, "You're being selfish. She needs it more than you." My jaw nearly hit the ground. My mom jumped in too, saying, "You waited 3 years. What would it really hurt to wait a few more months? When has your sister ever asked you for something? Are you kidding me? Like my wedding is some easily reschedulable dentist appointment?" My fiancé was fuming. He almost exploded right there in front of everyone. But instead, he grabbed my hand and we left before he said something he couldn't take back. Later that night, my sister called me crying again, saying, "It's not fair. You always get everything you want. Why can't you do this one thing for me?" And then, as if that wasn't enough, her husband calls me. Only this time, he apologizes. He tells me she promised him she wouldn't even ask. And now, he's furious with her. He warned me she's blaming me for ruining her marriage when, honestly, she did this to herself. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. My dad's been spamming my phone with texts like, "I hope you're happy. Your sister hasn't stopped crying since yesterday." As if her tears are my personal problem. At that point, my fiancé and I made the call. She's out of the bridal party. We replaced her with my aunt, who, by the way, is literally the only family member standing by me through this circus. We're not even sure if the rest of my family is still invited at this point. And just when I thought it couldn't get more absurd, my mom decided to escalate. She called my fiancé's parents to tattle, basically saying, "It would be best if my pregnant daughter got the venue." Big mistake. My future father-in-law didn't just say no. He told her to F off. He ripped into her, told her she was being ridiculous, and warned that if my parents kept playing favorites, they were going to lose me. So now my mom's crying too, calling him a butt face. Yes, a grown woman, butt face. I swear it's like living in a bad soap opera. The silver lining? My in-laws are absolute angels. They're on their way over right now with dinner and wine, reminding me that no matter how insane my family gets, they've got my back. And honestly, that's the only thing keeping me sane through this mess. So, update time. Because of course my golden child sister wasn't done. After everything that already went down, she kept blowing up my phone about the venue. Message after message about how I was being unfair, how I was supposed to have her back because we're family, and how she had asked nicely because she loves me. Then came this giant essay of a text, basically one long guilt trip about family loyalty, sisterhood, and me being selfish. And honestly, I snapped. I finally wrote back and said, "I'm sorry that you perceive it that way, but I am sick and tired of bending to your will my entire life. I've been your servant, your doormat. Remember all those birthdays I had to share with you because you'd throw tantrums if you didn't get presents? Or how I had to fill out your job applications because you were literally too lazy to write your own CV? And mom still supported you in that. But the thing that cut me the deepest was my graduation. Remember how you said it wasn't fair that I got the spotlight? So you showed up in the most expensive dress our parents could buy, baked a cake for yourself, hung balloons for yourself, and forced your way into every photo I took? I'm done. Yes, I spoiled you too, but no more. If you're desperate to marry before the baby comes, there are hotels that do last-minute weddings. I've spent years planning mine, and I'm not gifting it to you. And if you want to ruin our relationship over this, go ahead. I'll sleep soundly knowing it wasn't my fault." And you know what she replied with? Just one sentence. "Wow, you must love me so very much." Then she blocked me. But get this, she unblocked me the next morning, only to send me a message from a wedding planner. This email literally said, "Hello dear, I got the message from your mother. We'll proceed with the rebooking of the venue on the spot. However, this will cost extra since we need to change the names on the contract. Please come by tomorrow to sign." I was stunned. My parents had actually gone behind my back to try and rebook my venue under my sister's name. At that point, I hadn't heard from my parents since my father-in-law tore into them. But my older brother called me, completely confused. Apparently, mom and dad told him that I had already promised my sister the venue before the barbecue, and that I humiliated her in front of everyone by taking it back. When I told him what really happened, he believed me instantly. We ended up having a long conversation about our parents' behavior, and he admitted part of the reason he moved away was because of how toxic they are. He also told me that mom was raging at him for betraying the family by even talking to me. After that call, my fiancé and I went straight to our actual wedding planner. She was horrified. She told us she hadn't spoken to my mother since the day we originally booked the venue, and that nothing could ever be changed without me present. She even offered to put extra protection in place, and our venue staff agreed to hire security at a reduced cost just in case anyone tried to crash the wedding. So now we've laid it out crystal clear. Either my parents set up family counseling and apologize to me, or they won't be invited to the wedding. Period. And since then, radio silence. They left and they haven't called me once. So, as if things weren't already spiraling, here's the next update. My sister has now taken this war online. She's been posting nonstop on Facebook, dropping these passive-aggressive little digs about me, claiming I've made her depressed. And of course, her friends are piling on. I've had random people messaging me saying I'm heartless for treating her this way. Like, excuse me? You don't even know the half of it. I blocked every single attempt at harassment. Blocked her too. I thought maybe that would be the end of it. But nope. 2 days ago, her best friend actually came to my place and egged my car. So yeah, I called the police. And here's the funny part. My neighbor, who spends most of her time watching the street from her window, saw the whole thing. She's that classic grumpy lady next door. But honestly, she's kind of a sweetheart once you actually talk to her. She gave the police a full description, no hesitation. A few days later, after total silence from my parents, they finally called. They wanted to talk things out. I was cautious, but my fiancé and I agreed to meet them at our apartment. When they showed up, my mom's eyes were swollen from crying. And I'll be real, for about 10 minutes I almost felt bad for her. But then reality set in. Because, surprise, surprise, my sister? Still just being a complete nightmare. No diagnosis, no health issues, no reason for her behavior other than pure entitlement. The conversation started awkward, some light chit-chat. But soon enough, it turned into the talk. My dad's first complaint? Why did you cancel the caterers? My fiancé jumped in immediately and said, we didn't want to accept anything you could hold over our heads later. And my dad, he acted like we just accused him of a crime. All offended, saying, I'd never do that. So I told him straight, better safe than sorry. That's when my mom scolded me for being disrespectful. I shot right back. And what do you call everything you've said and done to me these past few days? The argument escalated, circling back to, you guessed it, the wedding venue. My dad threw out that tired old line. It doesn't matter where you get married. It matters who you're marrying. And I hit him with the comeback. Exactly, Dad. But funny, isn't it, how that logic only applies to me and never to my sister? If it doesn't matter, then why does she need my venue so badly? As long as she's marrying brother-in-law, shouldn't it be the same? Silence. My dad's face went beet red, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. My mom started sniffling again. I leaned forward and said, well, I'm waiting for your reasoning. That's when my dad slammed his hands on the table and launched into this rant about family, sacrifices, and how a loving family does everything in their power to make each other happy. I stared him down and said, oh, like how you tried to make me happy on my graduation day. You remember that? When my sister smashed my cake because she wasn't the center of attention, the room went dead silent again. My mom finally whispered, why do you hate us so much? And I just said, funny, I was about to ask you the same thing. They had no response. None. They knew they had messed up, but they just couldn't admit it. My mom tried guilt-tripping me again, saying my sister is miserable now, that she hasn't gone out in days because everyone's judging her. My dad started making excuses, claiming my sister just needs more time and attention because she's the youngest. At that point, I pulled out my phone. I had written down a long list, of every single time they had put my sister before me. Dates, details, everything. I read through it all. By the time I finished, their faces were pale and horrified, both of them on the verge of tears. They tried to argue, to twist things around again, but I shut it down. I told them, this conversation is leading nowhere. You have two choices. Set up family counseling and apologize, or you won't be invited to my wedding. And with that, they left. And once again, I haven't heard from them since. So, here's the final chapter of this whole insane saga. After that last conversation with my parents, nothing changed. They doubled down on their narrative that I was the villain. According to them, I was the reason my sister was depressed, and why her relationship was falling apart. It got so bad that I had to block them completely and even change my number, because they started using other relatives' phones to harass me. It was heartbreaking. This was supposed to be one of the happiest times of my life, planning my wedding. Instead, I was dodging phone calls, dealing with harassment on Facebook and Instagram, and drowning in guilt trips. It wore me down so badly that I just deleted my social media altogether. But I wasn't alone. My husband's family, his friends, and my brother, they carried me through it. And I made a choice. Anyone who tried to shame me for keeping my own wedding date was cut off. Simple as that. A few days before the big day, my nan actually showed up at my door. She begged me to let her come. We ended up having a long talk, and she apologized. She still couldn't quite wrap her head around why I wouldn't just switch weddings. but she promised not to pressure me and just wanted to be there. We hugged it out. But honestly, things between us aren't the same anymore. Then came my bachelorette party, and it was perfect. We cooked until dawn, laughed until our sides hurt, and my husband even surprised me with this gorgeous 3-tier cake. For the first time in months, I felt genuinely happy again. And then, the wedding day. The morning was calm, peaceful, almost too good to be true. I was at the venue with my friends, taking photos before the ceremony. When I saw a car pull up, my sister's car, my heart sank. I knew this couldn't end well. One of my friends bolted to grab security. We had hired them for exactly this reason, because the last thing I needed was a full-blown Hulk smash moment in my wedding dress. She got out of the car, her face red and swollen from crying, and the second her eyes locked on me she started screaming. Obscenities, insults, the whole 9 yards. According to her, I was a filthy witch who had made her fiancé leave her. She looked absolutely unhinged. And then, this is where it turned surreal. The venue always waters the plants in the morning, so the ground was muddy. My sister bent down, scooped up a handful of mud, and was about to throw it at me in my wedding dress. But before she could, my maid of honor sprinted in like an Olympic athlete and shoved her. My sister went flying backwards, landing butt first in the flower bed. Security arrived seconds later and dragged her out. That was it. That was the final straw. I had more than enough proof to file for a restraining order against her. I didn't even want to press charges. I just wanted her gone from my life. And once she was, the rest of the day was magical. I married my best friend, the love of my life, the man who's been my anchor through all of this chaos. My brother walked me down the aisle. We all cried during the vows. It was everything I had dreamed of. Sure, I missed my parents, but it is what it is. The reception? Absolute joy. My husband and his groomsmen performed a choreographed dance to a Taylor Swift song. Yes, you heard that right, and the speeches had us laughing like we were at a comedy club. We left for our honeymoon, and when we came back, I realized something. I needed a clean break. I loved my friends in town, but staying there meant staying tied to my toxic family. So I applied for a new job in a bigger city, got hired at a university, and we started packing. And then, the biggest twist of all, the cliché of all clichés, I found out I was pregnant. A classic honeymoon baby. I haven't spoken to most of my family since. From what I hear through town gossip, my sister is still telling everyone that I'm the reason her fiancé left, that I doxed her, and that she's the victim. She's moved back in with my parents, refuses to get a job, and Nan says my parents look completely exhausted. Apparently, she's reverted back to acting like a spoiled child, and now, they're stuck with the monster they created. As for me, I'm happy. I really am. It hurts knowing I lost my family, but cutting out toxic people, it was the best decision I could have made, because now I can finally breathe.
Thanks for watching. Today's train wreck is over, but tomorrow's ride is already on track. Subscribe so you don't miss it.